Very good. Going live, and you are live. What is going on, everybody? RogersBase here with my live reaction to One Piece manga chapter 1144. I feel like now that we're so high up in terms of the chapter number count, I'm shocked every time I say the chapter number. But here we are. There's been a lot of One Piece. I'm excited today to read today's chapter. But before we begin, I want to make a very important announcement because I know people are going to be asking because there's a lot of stuff going on in the next few weeks. For me specifically, I'm going to be traveling a lot. I'm going to be doing a lot of videos. I know there's going to be people asking because I know there's not a break. There's going to be a chapter next weekend. I know there's people asking if I am going to be live streaming my reaction to 1145 next week. The answer is I will not be. I will not be live next week with my reaction to 1145, and that's because I'm going to be literally when the chapter drops. I'm going to be on a plane to Chicago from New York after coming back from the Switch 2 experience to go to Chicago for C2E2 to host my panel over there. So what I'm gonna do, instead of doing a live stream next week, I'm probably gonna upload a standalone video for 1145. Hopefully the chapter's really good. But I haven't done a standalone video in a while. I think the last time that I did one of these was back in Egghead Island. I think it was during the chapter where Luffy makes the goggles and he's fighting Lucci. Or no, was that Kizaru? I don't even remember, but it doesn't matter. That was the last time that I did a standalone like review reaction video. We're gonna do that again next week because I'm not gonna get an opportunity to read this live with everybody. And I do wanna make sure that something is up while you guys are here and, you know, talking about the new One Piece chapter and stuff like that. Additionally, if there is not a break the next week, I may not also be live for the next one as well because I will be traveling from Chicago to LA. There's a lot of travel in the next couple weeks due to all this stuff with the Switch 2. So just keep that in mind. I know there's gonna be a lot of people asking where that content is. However, I have very good news for you guys. Very, very good news for the week after that one. So for the next two chapters, things are gonna be a little weird, but I have really, really, really good news for the week after that one. Essentially, after that week, what is going to happen is that moving forward, because I've seen so many people asking me to do anime live reactions now that the anime is coming back. Moving forward, we are going to be live reacting to the anime episodes as well during these live streams. So many of you know, like when I was doing my reactions to Hunter x Hunter, basically I would be co-streaming here on YouTube and on Twitch, and we would be live on YouTube for the entirety of this, and then we turn off the YouTube side of things, and then we'd be live over on Twitch, and then, you know, we would read the new Hunter x Hunter chapter, and I would upload it to the VOD channel. Instead of doing that, what we're gonna do now, because obviously there's no new Hunter x Hunter chapter, and I still like being live, I'm already in work mode on Sunday mornings, what I'm gonna do is that as soon as the chapter portion of the video is done, we will then go live, we'll stay live, excuse me, we're not going live, we're gonna stay live over on Twitch, and we're gonna do my reaction to the new anime episodes. Because I feel like if I wait any longer than like Sunday morning, I'll probably end up already seeing all of the cool clips on Twitter and stuff like that, but I feel like it's really easy to avoid seeing spoilers for the anime episodes. Also, I already know what happens in the anime episodes because I'm a manga reader, but I feel like it'll be easy to avoid the big sequences by just like not going on social media for like one evening. I think that's not gonna be a problem. And then that way, we could do our live reactions to the anime episodes while people are already here for One Piece content to us. So essentially, this is all good news for you guys. It's gonna be a little wonky for the next 2 weeks, but after that, things are gonna be looking good. It's gonna basically be like One Piece Sunday every week now, like just a big One Piece celebration every Sunday. The streams will probably go for like an additional hour over on Twitch as well. Those reactions will be uploaded over to the VOD channel. So if you aren't already subscribed to the VOD channel, make sure you subscribe. I'll pull it up on stream a little bit later. But that's, again, that's really, really important. All that stuff will be up on the VOD channel. And then if there's like a reaction that's really, really good, right? Like the Luffy versus Kizaru fight, or like a moment from the Kuma flashback, or something that I deem like, oh, you know what, this should be uploaded as its own thing, then what I'll do is I'll clip out that reaction and I'll upload it as a short here on the main channel, and then I'll just use the related video thing to relay over to the VOD channel. So again, there's a lot of good One Piece stuff coming up, but there's also a lot of good Nintendo stuff coming up, and so because of my busy schedule, I just have to adjust some things. But again, ultimately, this just means more content for all of you. Okay, and I know people are going to be happy to hear that the anime reactions are back. I haven't done regular anime reactions I think since, I mean, it's, chat, how long has it been? It's been a really long time. Obviously, I did reactions to big moments in Egghead. I did reactions to big moments in Wano, but I haven't actively, regularly been watching the anime in years. I mean, it's literally been years since the last time I sat and watched everything. I don't even think it was early Wano, Rob. I feel like it was before that. Early Wano, obviously, I did like the group live reaction for the premiere of Wano. I want to say it was like early Whole Cake was the last time that I did standalone reactions to every single episode. But we're going to do that now. Things are looking good. With all that being said, let's finally jump into this chapter. One Piece 1144, A Time for Warriors. Let's do this. Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage, Volume 29. Minatomo the Carpenter and the girls are freed. All right, so they finally beat up Who's Who. You got Who's Who and his minions lying there on the ground. Tama's there, you got the Carpenter there, you got Yamato there, you got the Oirons there. We're looking good. Fantastic. Ridiculous that we're on volume 29 of this, but again, it is what it is. All right, here we go. Beginning of the chapter. Oh, good. Finally, bro. I was just talking to Jimmy about this at the gym yesterday, how we had all that giant mural piece chapter with Frankie looking shocked up at the giant mural, and we haven't gotten anything from that really. Now here we are. All right, we got Frankie and we got Ripley. What is this? Well, what do you think it is? It's been here for ages, but it looks like pure science to me. Ah, I see. I figured a mechanical man like you would enjoy it more than anyone else. But what's a facility like this doing in a kingdom of warriors? So obviously this must be something from the ancient kingdom that was brought over. It looks very Laputa, whatever this facility is, doesn't it? Like the eyes on the top of it kind of look like one of the Laputa robots. And you've got like vines growing all over it and stuff. Really neat design to this thing. Even the bulbs of the trees coming off the bottom look interesting. Oh, okay, this is cool. I'm looking on the other page. Lilith and Bonnie. Oi, up here, Frankie. I'm glad you found this place. I was going to tell you about it later. It's really cool inside, Frankie. I love seeing them as part of the main story again. This is great. Lilith, Bonnie, what are you two doing here? Well, we got lost, so thank you for finding us. I guess even a genius can be bad at directions. Look, let's not give all that credit to Zoro, all right? You might be a genius. Zoro's not a genius. So I feel like let's not think he's suddenly some genius because he's bad at directions. All right, and Ripley saying, I'm glad we ran across you then. I've been hearing alarms in the distance, so there's probably danger in the woods. Anyway, listen to this. I can hardly believe this place. By my estimation, this building stood here for at least 3 millennia. What? Don't lie to me. Do you realize how ancient that makes it? Though I can't say she's wrong. I mean, even in Elbaf, we have no record of what this building is. Okay. Then that just makes it all the more worth studying. I think I'll settle down and live here. You sure you won't get lost? Anyway, let me check out the inside too. And you can see Bonnie screaming, yeah! What's the matter, Bonnie? Behind you. Oh, I like the little Oda box saying what the kids are afraid of. That's kind of cool, actually. You can see the little Oda box. What I'm afraid of. Lightning. Written down. Behind you, there's something creepy. Uh-oh. Elbaf, the land of mystery and wonder. But this isn't natural. I don't know what this is. So Ripley's obviously shocked by this too. And we're jumping over to another one of these dream nightmare creatures. In the Western Village, what I'm afraid of, Draugr. Okay. I think it is funny that lightning is just turning into a giant Zeus-like clown. And I do like, again, we talked about this during the last chapter reaction. I like the fact that it's all sort of done in like watercolor crayon. It's kind of cool, isn't it? All right. Sober up and grab your weapons. The firefighting spar is down. And that looks like Draugr to me, but it's a damn zombie. Is this related to the children's daydreams somehow? I mean, what the heck is going on here? Where are the captains? Somebody's got to take command. Well, they drank too much, and now they have to rush to the bathroom. What? They drank too much? Well, that looks awfully familiar. Is that an enormous me? Yeah, Brooke. Every skeleton looks like him. Yo! Quick, take the visitors away from the village. Ready? I'm going to move the whole desk. But hold on. Don't treat us with kid gloves. We want to fight too. And Usopp and Frankie, and excuse me, not Frankie. Usopp and Jinbei and Nami are all like, yeah, we want to fight. But you said that awfully quiet. Whatever this is, it doesn't seem like business as usual for Elbaf. I also like that Jinbei's commenting on Usopp's little speech bubble, saying, we want to fight too, but it's like he's whispering it. No, Colin, come on, you can't. No fighting. But why not? I'm a warrior too. I want to fight. Of course you can't. But I'm the son of Gabon. Exactly. You're not Gabon. So go find safety with the rest of the children and stay put. I also like that he's trying to use his Nepo baby powers of being a child of the Roger crew to try to enter in on this fight. But okay. Go find safety with the rest of the children and stay put. You got it? Meanwhile, he's screaming, ah, falling back on the ground. Yo, Jarl? What is it, girl? There's something we need to tell you about. And I'm sorry we didn't bring it up earlier. Okay. An intruder who looks like red hair? In the castle? Yes, sir. The pair were incredibly strong. One of them used strange powers, and the quickest answer to most mysteries in this world is a devil fruit of some kind. If these phenomena are unfamiliar to you, then there's a good chance that those folks are behind it all. Inform the country that 2 humans unrelated to the Straw Hat crew have infiltrated. Tell me as soon as they're found. You got it, Chief. Do you really think there are just 2 of them causing all this strange phenomena? Perhaps we should expect more. At least 2. You got it. Okay, you can see them off running. Now, I don't know who these people are, but if they're abducting children in broad daylight, they've got to be despicable, and we have to find a way to stop them. But what are they going to demand from Elbaf once they've got the kids held hostage? I've never heard of an abduction like this. Meanwhile, Jarl's in the background saying, this will not come to pass. And you've got the giant sword still in his head over there as Usopp and Brook and Jinbei and Nami try to figure out what's going on. I kind of like that group, by the way, too. You get like Brook and Jinbei, 2 of the newer Straw Hats, and then Usopp and Nami, 2 of the old regulars. I like that mix. That's a cool group dynamic there. You've got basically like the grandma of the crew, or the grandpa of the crew, excuse me. I said the grandma of the crew, but like the grandpa of the crew with Brook. You got like the little brother with Usopp, the little sister with Nami, and then you got the cool uncle with Jinbei. So, all right, let's see. Well, I'm going to help too. Just give us a ship and someone to move us around. Nonsense. Your guess. Stay in hiding where it's safe. But wait, where are Dory and Broggy? They're still in the bathroom. How much did they drink where they've got to be peeing throughout all of this? What's happening here? Bunch of lightweights. All right. If the targets are human-sized, we're going to have an easier time looking for them. Exactly. Let the big guys fight the big guys. We're going to search for the intruders. The problem is that Elbaf is just too huge for us to cover. You can see Nami looking over. What am I looking at over here? What's Colin dragging? You see him dragging something just trying to drag this bag, and then finally, you're not going to stop me, all right? You want to ride with me? Cool. I'm the captain then. All right, that's their excuse to get out of here. Okay. Riding on the toy ship with Colin. Man the oars, Colin pirates. We're off. You're the biggest one here, so how about you do the rowing? Onward. All right. So you got the Straw Hats traveling with Colin. Cool. What's going on over here? She's listening to something? Message to all of Sunworld. Humans unrelated to the Straw Hat crew have been spotted at Aurust Castle. They have demonstrated overt hostility and are considered... Wait, what is going on here? What is she listening to? I thought she hated Nika. Isn't that her whole thing? Her biggest nightmare was Nika, but she's listening to, like, the Drums of Liberation or something? What is this? You got Chaka, Chaka in the background. She's obviously listening to something on those headphones. They have demonstrated overt hostility and are considered... All right, and she's, again, phasing this out. Gee-ha-ha! It's Gunko's post-meal ritual. It's not a ritual. I just like doing it. TDS, huh? I prefer listening to a live musical performance, and whoever flubs a note first... It's nice to have a hobby you can carry around with you. But what's that song you like so much? New World? Okay... That's an Uta song. What is going on here? I mean, I will say this. If Gunko is listening to Uta music, that would be pretty cool. considering the fact that you've got a story arc in Elbaf where Shanks and his brother are obviously important, this would be cool to actually reintroduce and recanonize Uta, because we've seen Uta a little bit during, what's it called? Like during that little flashback when they were promoting Film Red. You got that little silhouette of her. But this is kind of cool. I mean, I guess I'm seeing people say that's also a Soul King song too. Yeah, but Uta sang it in the movie. Isn't it like one of the credit songs? I understand. People are saying it's Brooke's song. It's Brooke's song in Sabaody. But doesn't Uta sing it in the movie? I'm pretty sure she does. Though it's New Genesis is the one you're thinking of. Ah, yes. Oh, you're right. You're right. Oh, you're right, chat. This is interesting then. This throws things in a bit of a tizzy. This is interesting. So is she going to be like a super fan of Soul King? Maybe heel turns or something when she runs into Brooke? That would be cool. Give Brooke like a good solid thing to do during the story arc. Her being a Soul King fan, that would be great. I would love that. Cool. Look, I'm good with that too. I was thinking Uta, but you're right. No, you're completely right, by the way, chat. My brain was farting. New Genesis is the Uta song. You are correct. New World is the Brooke song that he sang during Sabaody. Correct. Yeah, I kind of like that then if Brooke ends up playing a role in this. Okay, so you got gee ha ha ha. What, you got a problem with the one we already live in? Don't make fun of what other people like, Summers. I mean, that's kind of nice of Killingham to say that. That's, he might be a celestial dragon goon, working within the God Knights, but it's nice that he's basically saying, let people enjoy what they enjoy. Standing up for Gunko. Very cool. Yeah, all right. Sorry about that. But hey, look, the adults over here are trying their hardest to save the kids. Huh? There. This should keep me safe. Now I'm going to stop him cold. All right, so Saul put in 2 giant sun shields. And he's going to try to ram into the kids and stop the thorns. Okay, good luck, Saul. You got Robin and Chopper. I can tell y'all are just following this stationary cloth thingy. And the cloth is heading right for the fire. You're going to die if you keep going forward, so I'm going to stop you. All right, so he just stands in front. Oh, no, see, but this is bad. This is bad. Now the kids are going to get hit by the thorns. So he tried stopping them from sleepwalking with the shield, but now the other kids are bumping in, and now they're both getting stabbed. Not good. Not good. You can see, eek, ah, huh, what? I'm sorry. Ylva, Scaldy, you okay back there, Olaf? What a disaster. If you stop one, then the others damage each other with spikes. It's awful. This is sadistic. Saul, I really think our only option is to search for whoever's powers these are. I mean, do we even know if they're nearby? The kids are going to throw themselves into the fire while we search, though, so I got to try everything that I can. If we can't stop them from the front, I'll start with Bjorn in the back. All right. Oh, trying to peel them off one by one? That's kind of a good idea. I kind of like that. There. I got him loose from the line. Now, if we just peel him off one at a time, what I'm afraid of. Oh, and now we got Fenrir here as well. What is this? You got the giant nightmare Fenrir glaring at him. Are these guys working together somehow? I mean, who's controlling this thing? And from where? And you can see Chopper screaming at all this. Also, wait, what is going on in my chat right now? What's happening? People are saying chat police. Do they need me to turn on the members chat thing? What is this? What's happening? Seeing stuff in my live chat here. I'll turn this on temporarily. I don't know what's going on. People are saying, yeah. All right, I'll turn on member only mode. There you go. All right, here we go. We'll slow things down at least for while we're reading the chapter. This will be good. All right, let's see this. What I'm afraid of Fenrir. Okay, are they working together somehow? Who's controlling this thing and from where? And you can see Chopper screaming. Mr. Principal, it's not just the Western Village. Other villages are reporting back about similar monsters as well. This is happening all over Elbaf, and it seems clear that these are devil fruit powers at work. We must identify the culprits. Agreed. Outside of the Western Village. Hey, thank you, by the way, to Soba Mask for becoming a member. Nakama, appreciate that. Outside the Western Village. There we go. Draugrs aren't actually supposed to exist, though. And look how much trouble it was just to stop one of these things. Get the wounded over to the village. I mean, they still managed to stop the thing temporarily. The thing is slamming down onto the ground, so that's good. And they're all trying to figure out who it is controlling the devil fruit powers. Meanwhile, on the other page, you see one of these other captains going growl, trying to take on one of these giant dragons, shooting lightning and fire out of his mouth. Nidhogg. Or Nidhogger. Okay, here we go. What I'm afraid of, Nidhogger, which I'm pretty sure is also the name of dragon in Final Fantasy XIV. It's no use. There are just too many monsters over here. And then I like that the other one, what I'm afraid of, is just a basic ghost. Okay. We can't protect the village. Flee for your lives. There's just too many of them. All right, here we go. Finally, Dory and Broggy are back from their pee break. It's our turn, Dory. Indeed, Broggy. Hakoku sovereignty. Slamming them from this far. Knocking into the giant dragon. There we go. The captains are here. I mean, the giant pirate crew. Sorry for taking so long, but we had to puke up all that we drank. Such a shame. Look, we didn't need to know all that. That's fine. We're going to exterminate all these monsters. You folks help with the children. It's the Great Eric, Sfar edition. You're going to get it now. All you monsters. But why'd you bother to sober up? Oh, and we got Gabon with them. Very cool. What? Look, it's Mr. Ya, the Mountain Eater. That ship is going to be unstoppable. And we're at the end of the chapter already. Okay. To be continued. One Piece 1144 end. Okay. That's it. So it's ending with Dory and Broggy and the Mountain Eater. Mr. Scopper Gabon himself taking on some of these nightmare creatures, taking down the ghost, taking down the dragon. And that's it. Okay. This was fine. That's my review. This is fine. It's an okay chapter. I feel like they repeated the same thing at least 3 or 4 times in this chapter about the fact that, like, they don't know where the other devil fruit characters are and where is their placement and how do we take them out. This was perfectly serviceable setup. I understand. When we first started the chapter reaction stream, I was like, oh, we got a little bit of a lower turnout today. I wonder what's going on. Maybe it's not that particularly good of a chapter. We got to the end. I kind of feel like that's where we are. I think, I will say, in terms of something good about this, I think the artwork in this chapter is excellent. I think this whole final panel with the Hakoku sovereignty, which is also interesting too, you know, knowing the Ikoku sovereignty thing with Big Mom. I think it's kind of cool that you're seeing that here, seeing them attacking. Kind of nice. I like the artwork. I like the Gunko thing, why Gunko was listening to Brooke. Again, I thought she was listening to Uta. I like that she's listening to Brooke. That's kind of interesting. I feel like that's going to have to come into play a little bit later. I also kind of like the camaraderie between the God Knights. That, you know, Killingham was calling out Summers, basically being like, just enjoy, let Gunko enjoy what she wants to enjoy. And then Summers sort of being like, yeah, it's not a big deal. I'm sorry. I kind of like that. I like the family dynamic of the 3 of them. Again, I like their designs. I'm excited to see more of them. But yeah, I feel like, I don't know. This is, it's a fine chapter. You know, I like seeing Saul trying his best to try to stop these characters. I think, realistically, though, this was kind of an essential chapter to get all of this set up. Because you do sort of see in this chapter what is going on with everybody except the main group with Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro and Loki. You're seeing everybody else's side of things. Obviously, last chapter we ended with the stuff with Loki and with Harudin and their flashback and what's going on with them and you know, Luffy as well and the freeing from the chains. But this one is kind of everybody else. And I think we kind of needed at least one chapter dedicated to all this. Considering the pacing of Elbaf, I feel like Oda's kind of earned this. You know what I mean? I feel like sometimes there'll be like kind of drag setup chapters one after the other. But I feel like this is perfectly fine. I also feel like last week's chapter, though, to be fair, was also perfectly fine. I don't think there was anything particularly hype in last week's either. But I feel like, again, considering how quickly the story of Elbaf has been going, I don't really mind this. I don't really mind the fact that we're just getting, you know, a little bit of setup and trying to see where everybody else is, you know, trying to see Saul help the kids in his own way, trying to see the God Knights, you know, trying to see what's going on with the Usopp group, and now all of them are over with Colin, and you're going to see them trying to stop some of these nightmare monsters. I think it's totally fine. Yeah, I think it's a completely serviceable, Fine setup chapter. I do feel horrible for the kids, though, that have thorns all the way around them because of Summer's powers, and now they're running into each other. But, again, when you see this little page on page 11, where you see him trying to yank the other kid out of it, and then Fenrir shows up, and then we kind of cut away from that, how the heck are Saul, Robin, and Chopper going to stop Fenrir? My assumption is maybe Chopper's going to go full monster point. You know, maybe Robin's going to unlock her devil abilities, and then maybe we're going to see Saul and the three of them trying to stop Fenrir. Like, I think this is maybe a cool showcase of their powers. You know, we'll see each of the different Straw Hat groups trying to take on each of the different nightmare monsters. Yeah. Otherwise, though, I think this is a totally fine chapter. Yeah. Thank you, by the way, Naruto Toad Sage. I'll be reading those super chats in a little bit. Anything else I want to speculate on this one? I mean, the only other big thing that I really want to speculate on from this chapter is the stuff with Gunko. I think Gunko having, like, the soundtrack from Brooke after she's eating has to be important in some way. I don't know how, but I think her listening to Brooke's music is going to be important. I don't know if she's going to end up being a super fan, though. Or, like, I'm going to be completely honest. I don't even know what's going on with Gunko. I feel like one week we're theorizing that Gunko is like a clone of Ginny. Another week, you know, we're talking about how maybe Gunko is a Neurona because of the eyes. Another time we're thinking that, yeah, maybe like Heidi said, she's going to see Brooke and absolutely freak out. Also, she's scared of Nika. We have that set up with her as well. So I feel like Oda's setting up a bunch of different things so he could take Gunko in whatever direction he wants to take Gunko in. Yeah, and then, you know, hearing multiple times that the Giants had to pee, it's like, okay, that's why they're not there. Fine. You know, seeing the lightning monster and Draugr. Again, I like the designs of the watercolor monsters, and I like the little thing he's doing with the What I'm Afraid of Oda boxes. I think those are kind of cute. I think really the best thing, and the thing that has me most intrigued, but we kind of jumped away from it, is this giant, like, robot building at the beginning of the chapter. Like, Lilith brings up at the near the end of that sequence that the building has stood here for at least 3 millennia. So again, this has to harken back to something with the Void Century, has to harken back with something with the Ancient Kingdom. Hopefully we're going to get more information with the stuff that happened with the mural, because that's the last time that we saw Frankie as well. And then obviously we see the giant nightmare monster over there with lightning. But I feel like Frankie and Ripley are probably going to be able to take that thing down, no problem. You know, it's Frankie. He's super strong. He'll be able to take out lightning. I'm not concerned. Also, Bonnie's there. You know, Bonnie might be a kid right now because she's now, you know, in tune with being a child once again because she knows she's safe because her father's alive as well. But I feel like Bonnie at any moment could just age herself up and we've got another fight. You know, I feel like Bonnie, Lilith, Ripley, and Frankie, that should certainly be enough to take down one lightning nightmare monster. You know what I mean? I also think I agree with Hollow Avarice. Hollow Avarice just said, I believe that this is the oldest thing that we've ever seen in One Piece so far, being 3 millennia old. Is this the oldest thing we've seen in One Piece so far? Part of me wants to say that something in Jaya was also that old. Like Jaya turning into Skypiea, getting boosted up with the knock-up stream. The castle in Alabasta is older, as well as the Tree of Knowledge. But realistically, I mean, this is one of the oldest things. So again, there's got to be something cool that this is going to tie to. Again, I just like seeing more things from the Void Century. I like seeing more things from, you know, the ancient robots. There's cool stuff that I think that can be made out of that. Lucky is also making the reminder in the chat that Alubarna Palace was 2,000 years old. So this thing is 3 millennia. Yeah. Well, cool. Yeah. And then, again, the cover story, cool. Like, they stopped Who's Who. Now the Carpenter's free. Fine. Yeah. Overall, it's a setup chapter. It is what it is. Not too much to speculate on this week. Not too much to talk about. But that's fine, because we got a lot of other stuff going on. So I feel like that's okay to have a little bit of a break week. Let me open up and see what James did for the thumbnail this week. Ooh, he went with Gunko. Okay. Let me open this up over here. Very, very nice. Check this out. Or I guess I can go over to this direct screen. There we go. Check that out. I love the pink theming of this with her with the headphones. I also kind of like that he did this without me even saying, I think I would have asked for you to do Gunko. Because realistically, he's only drawn Gunko once. That thumbnail was really cool. This is obviously a very different art style from the previous one. The previous one was the persona-looking version of Gunko with the arrows flying everywhere. I like this one. Because I also feel like this is one of the things I was most intrigued about in this chapter was the stuff with Brooke. Yeah, but I like the colors, it all being like pink and neon. Reminds me of Pink Lemonade. That's what I think of when I see this. I think of Pink Lemonade. I also like whenever he ends up doing like the little, the dotted backgrounds that sort of fade in and fade out. It's got a little bit of Persona vibes in this one as well, right? You've got like the hard shadow over here, and then you got the headphones. Yeah, I mean, I really couldn't even start to speculate on what I think is going to happen with Brooke and with Gunko. Because... I just want to bring this up. The last time, or not the last time, I should say the first time that we saw Brooke with the 3D2Y stuff, remember there was that one tribe that was trying to summon him in the pentagrams, in those abyss pentagrams? And now we know about the abyss pentagrams being the way that these god knights traverse between different locations. So I'm almost wondering if like Brooke being in touch with being dead and being a soul is somehow going to tie to the abyss and maybe finding out more information about that and then Gunko spilling the beans about some of that as well. I think that could be kind of cool. Denjen is saying, I really think Gunko is going to be a spy for the Revolutionary Army, calling it now. Maybe. Yeah. She very well might be. But, yeah, beautiful thumbnail again here, James. Really, really excellent work. I think that's going to be a good thing to sort of draw people in. Because, again, not a massive turnout for this chapter, but I feel like people always love Gunko and will probably click when they see Gunko. So well done. Very well done, James. Greatly appreciate the absolutely beautiful thumbnail this week. Let me open up the Nakama room and see what people are talking about over in the room and discussing. Let's see, Manga Sunday room. Oh, we have a lot of Manga Sunday questions. Okay. Wow. That's a lot of, oh no, we only have one. Here we go. We have two, excuse me. So this first one comes from Rob Harley. Thank you, by the way, to Sylvan for donating. Appreciate that. Nakama. Rob Harley said over in the Manga Sunday room, a 3,000-year-old robot is a really cool and interesting idea. It's not often we see something from the Void Century, is it? I know chat mentioned that Alibarna Palace is actually 4,000 years old, and the wiki confirms this, by the way. Oh, so it's not 2,000, it's actually 4,000. Especially seeing the robot with this timing, each iteration of Nika had a giant robot companion with him. Luffy's got Frankie, too. I also need that interaction between Brooke and Gunko, and I need to see her reaction when... Bro, I'm not going to read that last bit. Come on, no. No. I'll read it, because it is a Brooke joke. But he said, I also need to see her reaction if Brooke asks to see her panties. Bro, come on now. I mean, that is a gag with Brooke. That's true. But I hope that's not the direction they take it in. Though you're probably right. That is probably the gag that he's going to do with Gunko. I didn't even think about that, but you're probably right. Joker's Fallen One came through over in the member room on the Discord as well for all the Nakama questions, saying, good morning, Roger. I feel like this chapter was honestly more of a setup chapter. Gunko being fleshed out to either be a good person with redeemable qualities. But I'm kind of hoping that Gunko will be the first... Bro, what is up with this? Bunch of little horny weirdos in my chat today. What is happening? I'm hoping that Gunko is going to be the first girl to show Brooke her panties. Bro! What is going on, chat? Get your mind out of the gutter. Though there is a reason for this, because she doesn't wear pants. And Brooke needs to see it since his encounter with Big Mom. Bro. You guys are crazy today. Certified freaks in the chat, Team Soul King, bro. That is true, though, that she doesn't wear pants. You guys are correct with that, so maybe it would be easy. Yeah, that is true. See Heidi going, good grief, over in the chat. She doesn't wear pants, and Brooke needs to see it since his encounter with Big Knob. It would be cool for Gunko also to fight Brooke later on down the line. Moving over to Frankie and the robot, I'm hoping that Lilith could do a lore drop on something related to the giant robots in the One Piece world. But knowing Oda, he'll probably swing in a different direction from most fan theories. Have a great day, Roger. Thank you very much, Joker Fallen One. Nakama. Thank you very much to Rob as well. Greatly appreciate that. All right, let's see what's going on over here. Also, hold on. Let me actually look this up. You guys said there's also a line in Brooke's New World song about showing him the panties. I mean, yeah, maybe she would though. Because if she's a fangirl of Brooke, you know how people will go to concerts and they'll flash the musicians? I can kind of see something similar. I kind of hate that you guys are putting that idea in my head. That might be where they take Gunko's character. That's crazy. We're out here making all these cool predictions about what Gunko is, and then in actuality, she's just going to end up being a fangirl? What is this New World? Let me see this. New World song wiki One Piece. Because I got to be real, I don't remember the song. I remember Uta. This is the story of a hero, a man who will become king. In a war, there are new do-overs. He stands firm with sandals on his bare feet. Come on. Because their dreams are out of reach, you have to battle your own demons in order to live through the days. It's a big dream that seems quite a handful, but when he mentioned it, I could see it coming true. Today is the day. We got tired of waiting. We don't need nights because we're short-tempered. Today is the day. It's a great day. Kick the clock that was stopped for the new world, for the new world, for the new world. The world is going to change one more time. It's about time we assemble. My friend... Oh. This is kind of a good line. This is kind of a good line. This is a good line. He has a line in the song, my friends are also quite villains. Whoever seems to be teamed up follow perfectly by the hand. I mean, that goes hand in hand with the fact that she probably knows the God Knights are up to no good. There's no redeeming qualities there. They are villains. She's hearing the song about the villains. That would be kind of interesting. I also see over in the Nakama chat, Aaron said, what would happen if Zoro fight Gunko? I mean, that was one of the first thing we brought up when Gunko's Devil Fruit was revealed with the directions and the arrows. You know, you have like a man who doesn't follow directions versus a girl whose whole thing is directions. I think that would be kind of cool. I like that, Aaron. Let's keep reading the lyrics of the song because I think we might get something interesting out of this. We trained hard every day, rode on his ambition, even though he said this and that, he laughed. Which obviously ties to Nika, okay. Even a thick fog that seems to continue forever, disappear in an instant, we see the blue sky. Today's the day, the show's gonna start, those chosen to aim to that sea. Today is the day, depart and set sail, let's go and kick around in the world we long for. For the new world, for the new world, for the new world, the world's about to change, for the new world, the world's about to change. Just one time, one more time over, once again, go and fight 100 times for the new tomorrow. For the new world, for the new world. Give it up. Where is the line about the panties? I'm not seeing this. Oh no, here we go, here we go. Move forward without turning back. May I see, may I see, may I see your panties. Moyoroshi desu ka? Bro. I don't remember that at all. I literally don't remember this Brooke song at all. It's been so, I feel like Saba Odi and the entrance into Fishman Island is something I have not gone back and re-experienced in quite literally like 5 or 6 years. So a lot of this stuff I completely forgot. I forgot the lines to the songs. I forgot that even this was a Brooke song. Again, I saw New World and I immediately thought of Uta. Because I know Uta does a cover of this song. I know that specifically because I got the CD over here. Where's my, or actually I guess it's in the other room. I gotta go get the CD from the other room. But there's the CD that Uta sings from all the songs from that, and Uta's song version is on this. So I thought of that. But then again, I was mixing that with New Genesis. This is also interesting here too in this song. He said, we came along to cross over the rainbow. Is it time to go over the rainbow again? What's the whole thing in Elbaf? They travel on rainbows. My friends are all villains. Think of the God Knights thing. The May I See Your Panties thing, tying it with Gunko. Crossing the rainbows, tying that in with Elbaf. I think thank you, by the way, to Left Jab. I think I take back what I said earlier. You know, earlier I said that the most interesting thing might have been the stuff with the Ancient Kingdom. I kind of feel like this New World connection is now the most interesting thing. I think there's a lot of cool stuff that can come out of this. Ties to other things that are happening. Like, what if she's listening to the song, teaming up with Brooke, turning against the God Knights, and then they're all fighting and she's traveling with them over the rainbow? That would be kind of cool. I wouldn't hate this. I wouldn't hate this. At first, I was like, what are people talking about in the chat? But now, as you guys are sort of building this up over in that Nakama room, and as you guys are talking to my live chat, I do genuinely believe this could lead somewhere. Interesting. All right. Well, we got a bunch of super chats I want to get through. We got a lot of stuff I want to talk about. Let me go see this. Also, King Waffle said over in the member room, I'm excited to see everyone sing Binks Brew at the end of the series, but I'm also curious as to what new songs we're going to hear about from the world composed by people like Brooke and Uta. Again, I almost wonder if this is the opportunity to tie in some stuff with Uta. Because again, we know that Uta does a song cover of New World. And obviously, again, it's a Soul King song, but does she straight up say in this chapter that it's a Soul King, like a Soul King version? Let me see. She's listening to the song, but again, it doesn't say, I'm a big fan of the Soul King or something like that. And she must know, if they're hunting down the Straw Hats, that Brooke is a member of the Straw Hats. So again, part of me is thinking maybe this is like a weird twist to reintroduce Uta or something. I don't know. But again, I'd like to see Brooke involved as well. I just want to see Brooke do something. Aaron also said, one of my coworkers pointed out that the teacher had the kids draw their nightmares right before the God Knights appeared. So maybe that could be a coincidence? What do you mean? Just because they just so happen to be... Oh, you mean like unless there's a weird, like somebody's working with the God Knights? Like someone within the Walrus School knew the God Knights were coming and knew that this guy had this power and then told them to write at their nightmares? Like someone going against Elbaf? A traitor in the midst? I kind of don't want that. I feel like I've had enough of the traitor stuff. You know what? I feel like every arc there's been some iteration of a traitor, whether it was the stuff with Egghead Island and York, whether it was the talk of the traitor stuff with Wano Country, or I don't know. I'm kind of over the traitor thing. Yeah. But it's an interesting take. Let me read some of these super chats. All right, we got a couple of these. Let me see. I'm going to open this on up over here in the dock. Where is this? Social stream. Scroll on up to these super chats. Who's this first one coming from? This first one comes from Naruto Toad Sage. Okay. Also, I want to try something out here. I'm going to do this. Check this out. You guys ready for this beautiful feature? Actually, I don't even need to do this. I can go back because we're not looking at this. I can go over here. Watch this. You guys ready for this amazing thing? Look at this. I've got it where you got featured chats for the super chat down there. How nice is this? All right, so Naruto Toad Sage said, I wonder if Brooke will be able to wake people up with his music as a reversal to the trope of music being able to put people to sleep. Brooke certainly needs more love, and that would give him something to do, and that would be a good excuse to tie in the stuff with the God Knights. Because obviously the God Knights are the ones who created this whole problem in the first place. That would be kind of neat. I like that idea. Also, I think this is the wrong direct... Yeah, this is the one that I was looking for. This is the one that's got the full featured one. The other one is like if we're reacting to trailers or something. This is like a bigger camera. Yeah, I actually really like the idea that Brooke's the one to be able to like reverse Pied Piper them out of it. Because again, this is very much like a Pied Piper type situation, controlling the kids, making them go to a different destination. And then Brooke is going to be the one to break them out. And talking about the stuff with the rainbow. Maybe the words to the song are going to lead them to where they're going to want to go. Maybe the whole thing about like going over the rainbow is going to lead the kids and direct the kids to walk over a rainbow to a different part of Elbaf. I like that. I actually like that a lot. It's a good theory. We got Tef Sauce over in the chat saying, I think if Luffy goes Gear 5 around the robot, maybe he'll end up waking up like Emmett. That would be very cool. I would love to see that. The interesting thing about all this, though, is that Luffy is nowhere to be seen amidst all of this. Luffy's over with Loki and with Zoro and with Sanji, and people have all their theories about Zoro fighting Gunko, and now Luffy with the robot. So I'm curious how it's all going to come together. Like how we're going to see them all interacting a little bit later on in the arc. I think it'll be cool. Let me see. Is there another super chat over here that I can get to? This one comes from Sylvan, who said, thoughts on the end of 1142 with the monster below the ghost being Big Mom and Child's fear in Elbaf? How will Giant's Luffy react? Wait. I'm having a stroke reading this. Thoughts on the end of 1142. Monster below ghost is Big Mom. Child fear in Elbaf. How will Giant's Luffy react? Foreshadowing she coming here with Kaido. I'm going to be real. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm going to open this up over in Shonen Jump and see what's happening. 1142, the monster below the ghost. Okay. Let me see this. This was like the chapter where it ended with all the nightmares, right? Okay. Oh, interesting. I see what you're talking about. You mean the nightmare. I see what you're saying. Yeah, the nightmare underneath that Sylvan is talking about on chapter 1142, the nightmare underneath the ghost that we haven't really seen yet in the story. We've seen all these other nightmares. We haven't seen this one. Thank you, by the way, to Mega Buster for coming through to be a member. Nakama. Appreciate that, Mega Buster. Thank you. You see a nightmare that looks like Big Mom. That could very well be Linlin saying, these are the things of a vision of a world that terrify the children the most, and then you see Big Mom. So you're saying, could that have been a fear of the children in Elbaf? How will the Giants and Luffy, you're saying, how will the Giants and Luffy react to seeing a nightmare version of Big Mom? That's a good question. I think it would be very odd to see another version of Big Mom. I actually think it would make more sense if we're going to see that one, if we end up seeing that one first with Dory and Boggy's group, because Dory and Boggy obviously know of Big Mom and know of the stuff with the Giants and know what happened with the previous cheat, and then maybe tie that into the stuff that we saw with Brooke. You know, because like Brooke, obviously, he was the one who stood up to Big Mom all the way back in Whole Cake Island saying, you know, calling her a young lady and everything. I think it'd be kind of cool if he stood toe-to-toe with like a nightmare version. Jarl too is exactly. I think it'd be super interesting if Jarl ended up seeing it. Thank you, by the way, whoever just super chatted. I'll make sure to read that in a second. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, I think Jarl would be the best one to see the nightmare version of Big Mom because he was the one who had his colleague killed by her back during the, back during that old flashback from Whole Cake Island. Yeah, I think that'd be kind of cool. Maybe it's, and then adding to Sylvan's question, now that I'm understanding what he's saying, Sylvan said, is that foreshadowing of her coming here with Kaido? I hope not. I really hope not. I think that would be a really cool reason to go back and explain things that we didn't quite see in the Big Mom flashback and to fully flesh out her whole history here on Elbaf. Part of me almost hopes she is just dead. Part of me hopes that her and Kaido are really done now. I feel like this is One Piece, so they probably aren't. So they probably will come back at some point during Final War. That maybe she's going to make a homie out of the lava or whatever and get out of the lava. And, you know, Kaido being as beastly as he is and having tried to die again and again and again prior to Wano Country, you know, maybe he comes out of the lava as well and he didn't end up dying. I feel like they are probably going to come back. Do they come back during Elbaf? I feel like it's not really needed. I feel like, if anything, maybe they come back during Final War or something, you know? But I think in terms of, yeah, them coming back during Elbaf, I think there's enough interesting stuff that I want to see here. I want to see more with the God Knights. I want to see more with the Giants. I want to see more with Loki. There's enough major groups here that Oda's set up that I feel like we don't need another major group coming into play until we get into Final War. Yeah. Yeah, thank you again for bringing that up, Sylvan, because again, I got to be honest, I completely forgot the Nightmare Big Mom thing. Totally forgot about that. Yeah. We got another donation. This one comes from Left Jeb, who said there's a theory that Gunko is actually Victoria from the kid's past. Her goggles, her love of music, and also if you look at her image as a kid. Plus, kid is in Elbaf. Coincidence? Victoria from kid's past. Let me look up Victoria. I'm going to go Victoria One Piece Wiki. Victoria Shirutan? Bro, I really don't remember so much of this. Also, we already had the wiki page open, so I could have just topped this open. This girl? Victoria Shirutan Dorunyaka. A girl from... Bro. This is from SBS Volume 87. Victoria Broth Splatterina. A girl from Eustace Kid and Killer's childhood and their first crush. She was young, had freckles, pronounced lips, and a short bob cut, and wore a light sleeveless shirt. She beat up Kid and Killer for laughing at her, not taking kindness to teasing. Okay. She resided on Kutsuku Island with Kid and Killer and was their first crush. One day they ate udon noodles and curry soup for lunch together, and Dorunyaka got it all over herself. But because she was covered in brown sauce, Kid and Killer laughed at her and she beat them up for not speaking again. At some point later, Dorunyaka was killed by the criminal gang ruling the country she resided in. Doronyaka's death had a large impact on Kid and Killer, and in response to the murder, the duo, along with Heat and Wire, revolted against the gang and overthrew them. The four of them then set out to sea to form a pirate crew, naming their ship the Victoria Punk in their armor. Bro, I totally forgot that's the name of their ship, too. Dude, I'm forgetting so much. This is what's happening in my old age, man. This is interesting. The four of them set out to sea as a pirate crew, naming their kid the Victoria Punk. I knew it was the Punk, but I didn't know it was the Victoria Punk. Kid and Killer still hate udon noodles to this day due to their memory of the interaction. Okay, where is the connection to music, though? Where's the connection to music here? You guys said, look at her goggles and her love of music. I mean, her goggles don't remind me of this girl at all. And her love of music has no connection here either. I don't know. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing the connection at all. Unless you're saying like the love of music being punk music or something. But I feel like that's a stretch even greater than Luffy's arms. So I don't see the connection there of her being Victoria. I don't see it. I don't see it. When I thought Victoria, the first thing I thought of was Sindri. Because isn't Sindri's name Victoria? And also Sindri kind of has a bob cut that looks like this. But we know that we know that Sindri was like an actress. So these two aren't even really connected. Kid's whole crew theme is music. Yeah. Again, I don't see the connection with Gunko, though. I really don't. But I appreciate the donation. Thanks a lot. We have Hollow Avarice coming through saying, I'm wondering if Big Mom made Zeus and Prometheus based on common fears of people in Elbaf with the fire and the lightning. That's actually something we brought up a couple chapters ago. Yeah. The lightning one looks so much like Zeus, so which one ended up coming first? Well, I feel like we know that Mother Carmel had her own version of Prometheus. She had like a son. I'm assuming she also had lightning. I'm assuming she could terrorize the people of Elbaf to maybe have them leave her alone so that she could raise these kids to sell them to the government. I do think there is some type of connection there with Mother Carmel and with the fears of the children and with all of them having worked with her and the Zeus thing. Like, I do feel there is more of a connection there than something like Victoria. Yeah. And again, we know that the thing, also, what is going on over here? What is this weird ad that's over on the One Piece Wiki? I'm going to go back to James's thumbnail. We do know that the weakness of Elbaf is fire and lightning. They've emphasized that multiple times. So for me, the children being afraid of lightning isn't really that big of a shock. That seems like something that would make a lot of sense. Yeah. And I do very much think there is a connection there. Yeah. I really do strongly believe we're going to see something related to Big Mom and her past throughout the course of the rest of Elbaf. I just really don't think that Big Mom herself is going to show up. I don't know. I just don't think it's going to happen. Yeah. And let me see. Let me open this one back up again, too. This last one comes from Osoba Mask, who donated and said, Usopp will beat the Thorn user, calling back to 3D2Y, and maybe he'll be given Loki's hammer, which might have a devil fruit in and of itself. Oda's been hinting at devil fruits having weapons since Alabasta when he fought the dog. Maybe that's why. I mean, I fully, 100% completely believe that the hammer has a devil fruit. And that's why it's able to use lightning. 110%. Because we know that, because I feel like, here's the thing. We know Eneru has the rumble fruit, which is the thunder fruit. It's not the lightning fruit. There could very well be another lightning fruit out there, because we've seen people that have very similar powers, right? You've seen like Mach Weiss, who was the dude with the weight power in Dressrosa, and then there was also the girl who was in Baroque Works who had the weight power as well. It was like gigatons versus megatons or something, but they were both weight-related devil fruits. So I think the idea of there being a thunder fruit and a lightning fruit probably isn't out of the realm of possibility, and I could see absolutely tying in the stuff with Usopp and the whole thing with the hammer when he's going against Perona, and then it actually being a real hammer. I think that'd be kind of neat. And I would love that. Because then you think of like the mythology of Norse mythology and Thor being this hero and then Usopp picking up the hammer and potentially what that would mean for Ragnarok, because I don't know. There's a lot of good, interesting stuff that could come of that. So I actually don't hate the idea that Usopp gets the hammer at some point. Yeah. Could also be a zone fruit based on Thor. See, again, Oda could do any number of things to give this thing lightning powers. Yeah. I don't hate that. And I totally agree that we've already seen it set up with the stuff with the, what's it called? With weapons being given devil fruits. So that's not a huge shock. Also, I like the idea that Usopp will beat the Thorn user, calling back to 3D2Y. Did he fight something with a bunch of thorns in 3D2Y on the thing with Heracles? Obviously, we know that Usopp's got the pop greens and he deals with a bunch of different plants. I mean, I guess there's a connection there. I don't remember a specific thorn attack, though, being done to Usopp back in 3D2Y. But again, I have to maybe go back and reread some of this stuff. Yeah. But thank you very much for the donation. Appreciate it. Mega Buster coming through as well with another donation after becoming a member, Nakama, saying in that same chapter where all the nightmares appear, I don't actually think it's Big Mom. Let's pull this open again. I don't think it's actually Big Mom. In the same chapter, you hear the kids all say fears, and then one of them just says, I'm scared of my mom. So it might just be one of their mothers, but maybe one of their mothers is related to Big Mom in some way? That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, one of them does say my mom. When you get the scene on page 14 and 15 in chapter 1142 where they're all sitting around the table, one of them does say my mom. Man, the other weird thing about this, I don't know why, I feel like these nightmares have existed for much longer than we've actually seen them. I feel like we've known about these nightmares for months at this point, but really this was the end of 1142 where we see them. And there was just 1143 and 1144. And I know we went on break for that 1 week, but still in all, it feels like we've been dealing with these nightmares for like 4 or 5 chapters at this point. Time seems a little weird. So actually, yeah, it makes perfect sense that we would get this chapter. And it's totally understandable that we'd get this as the setup to set up the other nightmare creatures, because we've only really seen one of them in the previous chapter. And this is the one that fleshed out all of them. Interesting. You know what they say about Elbaf, though? You stay in Elbaf too long, and time feels like it's moving differently. Time feels like it's moving differently for me. I feel like so much other things have happened in the world since the last chapter when we got the reveal of these nightmares. So now it's like it's only 2 chapters ago, and yet I feel like we've known these nightmare creatures for like 5 or 6 chapters. Really interesting stuff. All right. Well, thank you very much for super chatting, everybody. Thank you all so much for coming through to the stream. Oh, real quick, hold on. Rob just said, wait a minute. Rob just said something else in the Nakama room. Let me read this up. Hold on. Rob just said in the Nakama room, I also want to point out a couple observations of mine. First off, I really don't think there's a traitor. I think Oda mostly just wanted to foreshadow what monsters we'll see by having the moment of the kids talking about their worst fears. Totally agree with that. I would rather not be a traitor as well. Rob also said, honestly, because of Gunko's eyes, I'm wondering if she is an amalgamation of characters, kind of like how Sindri is. So maybe 2 characters in one. Again, I mean, we've all talked about the idea that somehow maybe Emu is using her as a proxy to deal with stuff here in Elbaf while at the same time being present everywhere else, because she's the one who was creating the pentagrams earlier. We saw her doing it with the Abyss things. So maybe there is like, maybe she's half Emu and then maybe half herself. And the real Gunko is actually maybe just a fangirl, but the other eye is actually Emu Watch and everything. I wouldn't hate that idea. I think that'd be kind of cool. And then finally, you came through and said, also, I've always found it interesting that Big Mom is based more on Greek mythology, while Elbaf is very Norse-coded. You are also totally right about that. Yeah, with Prometheus and with Zeus and Hera, right, being the other one, once Zeus was taken by Nami. All her stuff was named after Greek stuff. It's a good thing to bring up, yeah. I also think the only traitor in this story arc is Harold. Yeah, there is definitely more to talk about with the king, with King Harold and what's going on there with his kids and with Jarl and what the truth of the matter was with Loki. Again, I feel like by the end of this arc, Loki is for sure going to be fighting alongside the Straw Hats. I believe that, yeah. Also, Clack said the cool thing about the thumbnail being stylized is that James doesn't have to worry about getting the color wrong. Exactly. Big Brain James, exactly. Well, again, everybody, thank you all so much for coming to the live stream this morning. Greatly appreciated. Again, kind of a regular setup chapter, but that's fine. We needed to get all this information. I'm happy that we got the information and the tease of what's going on with her potentially being a fangirl of Brooke. Again, at the very end of the stream, I want to remind people this upcoming weekend and the next upcoming weekend, there will not be live streams of the manga chapters. So if we don't have a break after 11:45, that will also be a standalone review video. And then what's going to happen when we come back, which what I'm assuming will be 11:46 or 11:47, when we come back with that again, these live streams will be both live again on YouTube and on Twitch. But then afterwards, we will be continuing the live stream, doing anime reactions over on Twitch for the second half of the live stream. Obviously, the anime is not back yet, so we're not doing it today. And again, I'm going to be out of town for the next 2 weeks, so I won't be there for the first 2 episodes that they come back. I'll probably watch them on my own. If there's hype moments, I'll upload my reactions as shorts or something. But moving forward, so this will be, again, starting Sunday. I'll make a post about this too, just for people who aren't listening. But starting Sunday, April 20th, these live streams are going to turn into essentially massive One Piece celebrations, giant One Piece Sunday streams, where we're going to be doing all the talk about the One Piece chapters, and again, all the talk about the new anime episodes. So we'll be doing anime reactions again weekly and manga reactions weekly. So it should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to bringing that stuff back. I'm excited to just watch the anime again. Again, I haven't seen it in a long time. Clax also said, take your time enjoying C2E2 and all your other travels and take care. Absolutely. Thank you very much. I also want to remind people, this upcoming weekend, I will be in New York City for the Nintendo Switch 2 fan experience. So I'll be in New York on Friday and Saturday. I will be making an announcement about when my meetup will be this upcoming Friday. It'll be at the Nintendo store, Nintendo New York. So stay tuned for that. I will be making an announcement about that. Again, even if you're not a huge Nintendo fan, if you're in New York City, you want to meet me, you want to talk One Piece, whatever, I will be there at the Nintendo New York store on the evening of this upcoming Friday. So I hope to see you all there. Additionally, the following Friday, I will be in Chicago with all the Japan Time guys. We're going to be doing a panel talking about all the Nintendo Switch stuff. We might throw some One Piece stuff in there as well. But if you want to meet me in Chicago, I will be there hosting the Japan Time panel at C2E2. I did a big panel last year for One Piece. I had a great time. We had an awesome turnout. Lots of people with lots of great One Piece theories. And there'll probably be some One Piece talk during this Japan Time as well that we're doing live at C2E2. So you want to talk to me about Japan Time, that'll be this upcoming Friday as well. And then again, when I come back from all that, after the fan experience for the Switch 2 in Los Angeles, we'll be back to our regular schedule and we'll be doing my One Piece live reaction streams and we'll be doing all the anime reaction streams. But again, just keep in mind these next couple weeks are going to be a little weird in terms of content, and then I ask you just be patient with me. And you guys are cool. You appreciate it. So I understand. Thank you all once again for being here. Greatly appreciate you all hopping in. Like, comment, subscribe. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Nakama! Take care, everybody.